In this video, I'm going to show you a screen recorder that I will be using in future instead of the Mac's built-in QuickTime recorder. This recorder will revolutionize the way that you create tutorial videos. And why would I spend $50 when I could use the Mac's free recorder in QuickTime? Well, there are two reasons. The first is that the Movavi Screen Recorder will, out of the box, record the system audio from your Mac. Now, this is not available in QuickTime, and you would need to add something like Soundflower or some other add-on to be able to record the system audio. The second reason is that the Movavi recorder allows you to record 3 separate streams of audio and video. So you can have separate webcam, separate audio from your microphone, and then separate video and audio from your system. And the ability to have 2 separate audio streams means that if the system audio is too loud when you're speaking on the microphone, then you're able to adjust that where it's mixed down if you're using it in QuickTime and you are unable to separate it. However, if you want to use the separate stream feature, then you do need to purchase the Movavi video editor for a seamless process. Besides these 2 main reasons, the Movavi editor is easier to select on your screen, and it also has more flexibility while you're recording. Not to mention the fact that you can trim your audio in the actual editor before you import it into Final Cut. Oh, and did I mention you can also record web pages, Zoom meetings, GoToMeetings, Skype meetings, WhatsApp calls, and Google Hangouts, all available with the Movavi recorder. I'm Bruce McBride, and my goal is to improve your knowledge and to speed up your workflow in Final Cut. This video is a detailed description of a screen recorder that you'll be able to use to edit with in Final Cut. So you should use it as a reference to come back to. And if you want to jump to particular parts of the video, look for the timestamps in the description below. YouTube is a great place to learn Final Cut, but not always do your questions get answered at the time when you're thinking about them. So save time searching through YouTube. I can do face-to-face, one-on-one tutorials. Just click the link in the description below. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and press the bell. You first need to download the screen recorder. There's a trial version available, and then you can purchase with an authorization key. So let's see how we install that now. We double click the DMG and the screen recorder icon comes up on the screen. Now right click on it and open with Installer. This time you'll have the option to open, and you'll be guided through the installer process. Decide what disk you want it on and then install. Put in your password. It'll now tell you when the installation is successful, and you can simply close that. You've now got a choice of moving the installer to the bin or keeping it, and the process is now complete. If we have a look in our applications folder, we will find the screen recorder and we can double click it and it's launched. We're asked to give authority to the screen recorder to access our system preferences. So open the system preferences, and you can see you can tick that appropriate one here. And now it's asking if you want to quit. Don't quit at this stage because we need to do other changes. So coming back to the recorder, and now let's set up and start recording. It will now ask authorization to access the webcam. You can select that there in your system preferences. It will also ask for the microphone. Once you've authorized the system preferences, the app will show in your dock, as well as a floating quick access panel and 2 other places in the menu bar. So also here at the top of your menu bar, and in the settings in the main menu. The quick access panel can be moved to any side, to the bottom, to the top of your screen. I prefer it on the left-hand side here. Mostly, these all do much the same thing, but there are some differences. If you right-click in the dock, you can set up start recording, record audio, webcam recording, and take a screenshot, and there are the normal dock options. If you come to your top menu, those are the same, but preferences are there. And if you come over to your main menu, those are all of the items there, including the preview saved files, which we'll see later. In the quick access panel, you have not only have your preferences there, but also a quick access to a screenshot and quick access to video panels. You can hide this panel here and bring it back. And you can also add some extras here, and we'll add the webcam recording to this one so that it shows in the panel as well. So now let's jump in, and first we'll use the screenshots. So if we click on the screenshot here, you will see you have the orange overlay panel, and you can hover over the screen and select the area that you want to record. Once you've selected that area, then you can copy to the clipboard, you can save your screenshot, or you could share it. At the same time, we can use some of these markup tools, so we could put a red arrow in here and have that pointing in a particular direction. You can put lines in. Can change the color, so you can highlight certain areas, and you can change the shape of objects. You can undo as many times as you wish, and this here will allow the lines that you select to be wider. Closing the screenshot here, so let's take a screenshot and it will save it. And it save it to the Movavi screensaver, which is in the movies folder. That's our default location. Before we actually do any screen saving, I think it's a good idea to look at the preferences and how to set these up. So if we come to the preferences here, we'll use the top panel for selecting them and go to General, then we'll just go through the ones that we need to change. These are the basic settings, and you can disable the countdown. By default has a 3-second countdown. You can hide the recording panel, and this selection here will allow different panes in a window. So if you're working in Final Cut, you could just have the viewer recording and it would select that pane by clicking on it. We'll see that as we go through it. And you can also capture separate streams here. Enabling the sound notifications is simply, it gives you sounds for when it's exported or when certain actions happen. Let's move to Files, and here you can select your default folder. I like to leave it at the Movavi folder in the movies and make my selections as I go. You can also here select the type of screenshot that you want to record as. And these are your keyboard shortcuts, very handy for start and stop and for pausing and taking a screenshot. Video, this here will select your frame rate, and the audio quality, if you're working with Final Cut, should be 48K, and enable the super speed conversion. So just as a thought, if you're having problems with syncing audio and video, then maybe you could turn this off, it may help. And now we come to the webcam, and you can select which camera is recording here. If you've got more than one, you can select your video resolutions and also your frame rate. And you should keep this the same frame rate as you selected in video. You can also change the size of this video, and this video will be on either the lower left side of your screen as an overlay, or in these other positions you can choose that. Effects, these are very handy. You can show the cursor when you're recording, so you'll see this cursor pattern as you move it around, and you can change the color of that if you want to. You can, if you want to, have your mouse click selected. You can reset this to the defaults. And you can also change your keystroke recording options, you can have them turned off, or you could just have keyboard shortcuts only. And then when you're recording, any keyboard shortcuts that you use will show on the screen in the edited video. Or you could, in fact, have all keystrokes recorded. I prefer just to have my keyboard shortcuts recorded. Now we can come to Scheduler, and what we can do here is you can set up a time for a recording. So if you wanted to record a webinar, then you knew that was going to happen at 7 o'clock in the morning and it's a bit early for you, then you could have the computer running and the screen recorder would come on at those pre-recorded times and run for so long. So you could have it run for a duration of 2 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Then you could have it decide to go to sleep or to shut down again. And then you could schedule that recording to come on at that time that you want it, giving it a title and a date, and then add that task. And at the bottom, final one here, sharing, you can do your signing in so that you can automatically access YouTube or Google Drive. Now let's start a screen recording process. So we will click on the video tab and we can here drag this over the screen and select a certain size of the screen. Now this is really useful if you want to record an aspect ratio but still have your script on the right hand side that's not being recorded, as I've got it here. So we could type in here 1920 by 1080, and we kept our aspect ratio there. And if you wanted to, you could just select your image to make sure that it sits within that aspect ratio. So it's now recording the Final Cut screen, but it's not recording the script here on the right hand side. Now we have a choice of whether we want the webcam on, whether we want the microphone turned on, and we can select between which microphone we want recording, or we can turn them all off, or we can turn off the audio coming from the screen itself. So in this situation, I just want to do a simple recording with the audio from the screen and also from the microphone, and select record here, and here's your countdown. We can play.
So far this afternoon.
We can talk over it. We can click on the screen saying we want to go there. We can do a Command Z to go back. We can select changing the N key for snapping. We can bring up the blade. And then if we want to, we can halt that just for the moment so that it's paused, gather our thoughts, and then come back and start recording again. And when we've finished, select the stop button. At any time you can press the camera here and it will take us a screenshot of that particular image at that time. And all of this time it's counting here for the number of seconds that you've actually recorded. So by stopping it here, we now come to the edit window. And in the edit window, we can play, and you can see there is the cursor here, and if we move through a little bit, you can see that the spacebar was recorded there as a keyboard entry. If we want to, we can trim this, so if we've got a big header that we don't want to actually put into Final Cut to edit, then we can cut that out. Simply cut the header out here, moving this cursor here. When you look at the bottom here, you can see the seconds of the frame per second that the cursor is at, and if we want to delete that, we could just press the delete button. We could also, if we wanted to, come to the end and cut that, and perhaps coming into the middle, because there's a section we want to cut out in the middle, so we could cut that, adjust it, and then cut that out. And you can go back for an unlimited number of undos. And we could, if we wanted to, take a snapshot at any time of any of the frames that are in this editor window. We can then share it. We could share it to WhatsApp. We could share it as an email. We could send it direct to YouTube if we'd already previously registered, or to Google Drive. Though I prefer to export. And when you export here, then we have the choice of changing the name. So this is the test. And we can then browse to what folder we want it to go to. We can also change the format, so we could make it a move file. If you wanted to, once you've selected that there, then you can click on the size, either have a smaller size or better quality. Better quality will obviously take longer to encode. Now we could save here, and there it is going to file now. We can directly go to the Finder and find the test in that folder, and if we want to, we can check it in there. And there it's playing. When you want to delete a file, you can delete it directly here, and it will take it out of that folder, permanently delete it. You can also close the window, and if you should want to come back to it at any time, you can go back up to Preview Save Files, and that brings back the window and your choice of folders that you have things saved in. And now the best part for those of you recording software tutorials for YouTube. And this is the ability to record separate streams from your webcam, from your system audio and video, and also separate for the microphone. You need to purchase the Movavi video editor. The trial version will not do this. It's a fairly seamless process with the Movavi video editor, and you could complete your edit in that and send it to YouTube, or you could export the streams and do your edit in Final Cut. I'm just going to cover the overview of how to do it here. If you want to look at the process in detail, I'm doing a video on that. Please press the subscribe now and the bell, and you'll be notified of when that's available. So bring back the screen recorder window by selecting the preview saved files. So select the clip that you want to edit, and this will open the Movavi video editor with your recording in the media bin. So drag this into the timeline, and you'll now see the webcam, the system video, the system audio, and also your microphone audio. You can continue to edit here, or you can export separate streams so that you can edit in Final Cut. And to edit in Final Cut, hide the audio and video tracks in the system audio. So hide the video, hide the audio. And now you have selected the webcam and the associated audio, which is coming from your microphone. So here we'll go to export, and there's a few things you need to do. First of all, you need to change the name and select where you want to send it, and also make sure that the quality is set to highest. And in your resolution, you can see that it's currently at 4K. You will need to go in here and select that. Make sure your frame rate is correct, and make sure that you're recording to stereo at 48K, because that's what Final Cut would prefer. So you can say OK to that, and now when you press start, it will start to export that file so that you can add it to a multicam in Final Cut for editing. Now that's exported, we need to now turn off the webcam, and we need to turn off the microphone and turn on the video stream and the audio stream. So just these two will now be exported, and go through the same process, making sure that you have the same selections as you had previously. Now in Final Cut, import the two streams and then make a multicam out of that. And if we double click this here, you can see the multicam in the timeline. And if we play through that this time, we should be able to see 3 streams. So that part is where I'm talking to camera, and then if we come in and look on the lower track here, it gives you sounds for when it's exported. That's the audio from the system video. So you can see both the webcam there, and if we make this the monitor, then you can see the audio and video combined as one track. So you'd edit that in Final Cut as you would any multicam. And if you want to know more about multicam editing, click the eye above to go to a detailed video. Now I'll explain how Movavi Screen Recorder will record your webinars, your meetings, Skype calls, etc. So let's start with Skype calls. You need to make sure the system audio and the microphone icons are highlighted in green, so that the audio comes from both your microphone and from the other attendees. Click record and you're ready to play your video. You have 3 seconds, the countdown, and during the recording you can press the pause and the stop buttons. You could even set the timer in your settings menu. And then just treat the recording as you would for any normal screen recording. To record to a Zoom meeting, you need to activate the microphone, webcam and system audio. Then start recording with the record button, and the process starts automatically after 3 seconds as above. Then just treat the recording as you would any normal screen recording. To record to a GoToMeeting, if you're the presenter, don't forget to enable webcam and microphone and system audio. And as an attendee, you just need to turn on system audio for the internal sound and turn off your microphone. Then treat the recording as you would any other recording. You can also record WhatsApp voice calls. Currently, video is not supported. You do need to turn your microphone on and also the system audio. Then hit the recording button as you would above. As well as all of the above, you can record lectures and webinars and use the same processes, but turn the microphone and webcam off. Keep the system audio turned on. Lastly, we'll look at how to record from a website. Select the video recorder icon, drag the orange crosshairs over the area you want to record, turn off the webcam and the microphone. And when you're ready, press the record button. 3 seconds countdown, and then the video starts playing. This overview video is the first in a series of videos about a... You can then pause the recording or stop the recording, and then the editor window will appear and you can do your editing as per normal. This has been a comprehensive overview of the Movavi Screen Recorder. I found it very versatile, and as you've seen, it's got some really nice features. In fact, I will be using it in the future. But for me, it's the small things that matter, like the ability to be able to type in your numbers when you want to size your screen so that you can retain your aspect ratio, or the ability for the screen recorder to stay active. Really frustrates me with QuickTime that I have to relaunch it every time I want to record something. And the ability to record separate audio from the microphone as from the system audio. And if you want to spend a little bit of extra time or effort, then you could record a webcam as a separate stream as well. If you click the eye above, then there's a detailed video about how to use these separate streams. This, after all, is only an overview, even though it is over 20 minutes long. Or, if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe and press the bell and you'll be notified when new videos are produced every Sunday.